Yes, I asked myself that, and I did write straight philosophical pieces, but in the last book I had written, which was on Spinoza, Betraying Spinoza, the renegade Jew who gave us modernity, I had, that was a straight, more or less, intellectual biography with a lot of philosophy in it. That book introduced me to communities I hadn't known about before, organized non-religion. It was shocking that non-religion can be as organized as religion. Well, not quite as organized, but lots and lots of, associations of pro-science, pro-reason, some more or less anti-religious. And I had the sense that the more, and I got invited to these groups to talk, and the more I spoke to people with whom I basically agreed, the more dissatisfied I became when they discussed people with whom I don't agree. I know very well what it's like to be religious. I know very well what it's like to experience the world that way. And I know that it has to do with more than argumentation. And it has, in fact, more to do than with the belief in God. It's got to do with community and loyalty and existential dilemmas and fear of death and just so many different emotions. And that religious people often just experience the world very differently than others. And for me, fiction, which I love, is made for that kind of thing, to show how these big issues are really embedded in lives, how they often are connected with completely different experiences of the world, that they go very deep down, so deep down, that often people who don't agree they're just not hearing each other, they're not grasping each other, they don't know what it feels like to inhabit the world in that other person's way. Fiction is made for that. And that's what drove me, once again, against my self-interest, to write another novel. Yes, I mean, it's interesting. As a philosopher, it surprised me how suddenly, it all seemed very quiet when I used to teach, philosophy of religion or arguments for the existence of God, deconstructing them. 20, 25 years ago, it was, really, it was not, didn't provoke a lot of discussion in the classroom. But now it's really escaped from the classroom. It's in the public square. And it's interesting why now. Clearly, 9/11 had a lot to do with it. The more dangerous aspects of, absolute belief, undoubting belief, is very, very, we're all in terror of this right now. So this certainly had something to do with it. I think also the alliance, the political alliance that took place in the last administration between, free market advocates and family values, evangelical Christians, as a large and powerful political movement, had something also to do with the pushback from the other side. Important decisions that affect us all, like stem cell research or gay marriage, being decided by people from a particular religious background with a particular religious agenda. It was distressing to other people, and so there was a pushback. I also think there's something about the progress in the brain sciences, in evolutionary psychology in particular, so that religious belief is now something that scientists are looking at and trying to explain. And it's not, I don't think, an accident that the most prominent atheist writers come from that domain. Richard Dawkins from evolutionary biology, Sam Harris, Dan Dennett, also much interested in evolutionary psychology. So I think that also, a way to try to now explain religious belief as a way of toning it down.